Ladies and gentlemen, history has a way of teaching us lessons we refuse to learn. Great empires rise, they dominate, they shine bright, then they stumble. And when they stumble, the world does not stop, it shifts. Today, I stand before you to tell you this: America's next big mistake will not just weaken its grip on global leadership. It will open the door for India to step forward, to stand tall, to claim the role of the next great superpower. America has long believed in its own permanence, a superpower carved from the victories of the 20th century, confident that its influence could never fade. For decades, it has walked the world stage with its chest out, assuming that dominance is eternal, that no one could rival its power, its innovation, or its reach. Yet history does not work that way. History has never favored arrogance. Nations that grow too sure of themselves forget the delicate balance between strength and humility. They forget that the world is always shifting, always searching for the next center of gravity. And in that blind spot, mistakes are born, mistakes that alter the course of generations. America's greatest vulnerability today is not its economy, not its politics, not even its competitors. It is the illusion that it cannot be replaced. Overconfidence has blinded it to the truth power is never guaranteed. It must be earned again and again. Think of the moments in history when empires thought themselves untouchable. Rome, so confident in its might, ignored the cracks spreading through its foundation until the fall became inevitable. Britain, certain of its imperial grip, stretched itself too thin and underestimated the tides of change until colonies broke free and new nations rose. In every era, the mistake has been the same. The belief that dominance is eternal, that no rival could ever stand on equal ground. And now America is poised to repeat the same mistake. The world is changing faster than ever. Technologies are advancing, populations are shifting, alliances are realigning. But America clings to the idea that its supremacy is automatic. That belief, that blindness, is its greatest weakness. Overconfidence does not show itself in a single act. It shows itself in patterns, in decisions made without foresight, in policies that serve short-term pride rather than long-term vision. When a nation assumes its currency will always be the standard, when it assumes its technology will always be the benchmark, when it assumes its military presence alone can guarantee influence, it leaves open the door for someone else to innovate, someone else to lead, someone else to inspire. And that someone else, right now, is India. The very mistake America makes, believing there is no alternative, creates the conditions for an alternative to emerge stronger, faster, and with momentum that cannot be ignored. Overconfidence blinds leaders to reality. It makes them dismiss challenges as temporary, competitors as insignificant, and global changes as irrelevant. But the world is not waiting for America to catch up. The world is not pausing to let it recover from its miscalculations. The world is moving forward, and in that forward motion, India is rising. America assumes it will always dominate trade, yet India is carving new routes and partnerships. America assumes it will always control the conversation on technology, yet India is fostering a digital revolution with millions entering the online economy every single day. America assumes that its influence in global institutions is unshakable, yet India's voice grows louder, clearer, and more respected. These are the cracks that overconfidence ignores, and these cracks widen until the foundation can no longer hold. What makes America's overconfidence so dangerous is that it blinds not just leaders but entire generations. Citizens are told that America is the greatest, that it cannot fall, that no nation could ever surpass it. And while they are taught to look backward at past victories, they fail to see the future forming right in front of them. That future is not waiting in silence. It is being built brick by nations that understand humility, resilience, and vision. India, with its hunger, its youth, its innovation, is doing exactly that. While America assumes the race is already won, India is running harder, faster, and smarter. The tragedy of overconfidence is not that it blinds you to failure. The tragedy is that it blinds you to opportunity. America still has chances to adapt, to cooperate, to evolve. But when overconfidence rules, those chances are squandered. And while America squanders, India seizes. America hesitates, India advances. America defends the past, India builds the future. Overconfidence is not a sign of strength, it is the mask of weakness. And when the mask falls, the world will see what it has always known, that no empire lasts forever, no superpower remains unchallenged, and no mistake is too small to shift the destiny of nations. America's overconfidence is the seed of its next great mistake. And when that mistake grows, when it bears fruit, the world will witness the rise of a new power ready to take its place. India is not waiting for permission, not asking for recognition, not begging for acknowledgement. It is preparing, positioning, and pushing forward while America looks away. And by the time America sees it clearly, the balance will have already shifted. While America wrestles with its divisions, its polarized politics, its endless debates about identity and power, India is quietly and steadily building its foundation on the strength of its people. This is not just about numbers. It is about energy, vitality, and momentum. India possesses the youngest workforce in the world, a demographic engine that is both vast and ambitious. While America's population is aging, India's is surging with youth, with millions entering adulthood every year, each carrying with them the dreams of progress and the hunger for opportunity. In the 21st century, the true measure of strength is not only military might or economic clout, but the power of people who are willing to learn, create, and build. And here, India has what America cannot replicate. Everywhere you look in India, the energy of youth is visible. From the bustling streets of Bangalore, where young engineers code the next wave of software innovation, to the classrooms of small towns where first-generation learners are mastering digital tools their parents never dreamed of, there is a movement taking place. This movement is not top-down. It is grassroots. It is fueled by the aspirations of millions. Young men and women who are not satisfied with the status quo, who are ready to break barriers, and who see the world as their stage. In contrast, America struggles with a generation caught between uncertainty and disillusionment, where divisions run deeper and hope does not burn as brightly as it once did. The workforce is more than a statistic. It is the heartbeat of a nation's future. For America, an aging population means mounting healthcare costs, fewer hands to work, and a shrinking base to drive innovation. For India, a youthful population means new businesses, new inventions, new leaders, and an abundance of human capital ready to take on challenges. When the world looks ahead to see who will power the engines of the global economy, the answer lies not in the echo of past power, but in the voices of the young, and those voices today speak Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, and dozens of other languages that rise together in the chorus of a billion dreams. Youth brings with it a hunger that cannot be ignored. Hunger to compete, to create, to achieve. While America debates its internal struggles, India's youth are seizing opportunities not only at home, but across the globe. They are leading tech companies, driving scientific research, innovating in startups, and changing the way industries operate. They are not burdened by nostalgia for lost glory. They are focused on the possibilities ahead. That is the power of a young nation unafraid to reimagine its destiny. Education is the cornerstone of this transformation. India, once defined by its challenges in literacy and access, is now producing some of the world's top scientists, engineers, and thinkers. Global corporations look to India not just for cost-effective labor, but for talent, creativity, and leadership. From Silicon Valley to Wall Street, from London to Dubai, Indian professionals are shaping industries and setting standards. This is not a coincidence. It is the natural outcome of a nation where knowledge is revered and education is seen as the path to liberation. When you combine education with the drive of youth, you create a force that can reshape the global balance of power. Another strength lies in resilience. Indian youth have grown up in a world of contrasts where tradition meets technology, where scarcity teaches resourcefulness, and where ambition thrives despite obstacles. That resilience creates leaders who do not fold under pressure, innovators who do not give up after failure, and communities that know how to survive and adapt. America's young face challenges of their own, but the difference is that Indian youth see the future as something to be won, not something to be inherited. That mindset alone is enough to tip the scales in a competition for global influence. The energy of a young workforce is not limited to the economy. It spills into culture, politics, and global identity. It allows a nation to speak to the world with confidence, to assert its place, to demand respect. The young do not carry the same hesitations as older generations. They are not weighed down by the scars of colonialism or the anxieties of the Cold War. They see themselves as global citizens, and they are determined to ensure that India is not just a participant in the 21st century, but a leader. While America struggles to reconcile its divisions, India's young are uniting behind a vision of growth, prosperity, and influence that is both national and global. In this competition between old strength and new vitality, between aging power and youthful ambition, the outcome is already beginning to show. Nations that harness their youth rise, nations that ignore it decline. America's division leaves gaps in its ability to focus on the future, while India's youth push relentlessly toward it. The demographic advantage is not a temporary trend. It is a defining factor of the century, and India holds it firmly in its hands. The question is not whether youth will shape the future. The question is which youth will seize it with both hands, and all signs point to the nation that has more young people ready to build, to innovate, and to lead than any other on earth. Look closely at the flow of the global economy, and you will see the currents shifting in ways that once seemed impossible. Supply chains that for decades revolved around America and its allies are slowly being redrawn, and the center of gravity is moving. Markets that once depended solely on American demand are diversifying, and trade routes that once pointed toward the West are opening up to new directions. Every misstep by America in trade policy, every hesitation in embracing new opportunities creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum another player rises. That player is India, stepping into the spaces America leaves behind, filling them with innovation, partnerships, and a vision that looks forward instead of clinging to the past. The economic world is no longer defined by the old playbook. Technology is breaking down barriers. Capital is flowing in new directions, and ideas travel faster than borders can contain them. America, confident that its dominance is secure, continues to make mistakes that cost it ground. Trade wars, protectionist policies, and the arrogance of assuming that industries will never relocate have pushed companies to look for alternatives. And in that search, India stands ready, offering not just labor but talent, not just markets but innovation, not just participation but leadership. India's economy is not rising by accident, it is rising by design. With a massive digital revolution unfolding, hundreds of millions are entering the online economy for the first time, creating one of the largest consumer bases the world has ever seen. Startups are no longer confined to Silicon Valley. They are flourishing in Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. Fintech, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, everywhere you look, Indian entrepreneurs are pushing the boundaries. And while America grapples with regulatory roadblocks and political battles that slow progress, India's economic engine is accelerating, powered by ambition and resilience. The mistake America makes is assuming that economic leadership can be sustained by reputation alone. In the modern world, leadership belongs to those who can adapt, innovate, and create opportunity for others. India understands this truth. It is building infrastructure, investing in digital connectivity, and empowering small businesses to reach global markets. When global corporations seek new hubs for investment, India is not just an option, it is increasingly the choice. America's missteps have created doubt about its reliability, while India is projecting stability and growth. In economics, perception is as important as numbers, and the perception today is that India is a rising force. Consider the global supply chain. For decades, companies placed their faith in America's economic ecosystem, but shifts in costs, politics, and policies have changed that equation. Manufacturing is moving east, technology services are moving south, and India is becoming a central node in this network. America underestimated how quickly businesses would adapt, how fast companies would pivot away from dependence on a single superpower, and how eager they would be to diversify. India has stepped in with competitive costs, a skilled workforce, and a government increasingly open to global partnerships. These are the signs of a nation not just competing, but preparing to lead. The transformation is not limited to private enterprise. India's government has launched initiatives to promote digital payments, financial inclusion, and innovation at a scale unmatched anywhere else in the developing world. Millions of people who once lived outside the formal economy are now participating in it, creating new streams of growth and stability. America's economic debates are often centered on maintaining old industries, but India is focused on building the industries of tomorrow. That difference in perspective is what sets the trajectory of nations apart. America defends the past, India builds the future, and the future is where power resides. Another key factor is resilience in the face of crisis. The global pandemic revealed how fragile some economic systems truly were. America's supply chains were disrupted, its reliance on imports exposed, its weaknesses laid bare. India faced its own challenges but emerged with lessons, reforms, and innovations that have only strengthened its resolve. It used adversity as a catalyst, accelerating its push towards self-reliance while still engaging with global trade. This balance of independence and interdependence is what positions India as a credible alternative in the global economic order. As markets continue to shift, as technology reshapes commerce, the question of leadership becomes sharper. Who will define the next era of trade, investment, and innovation? America believes its place is permanent, but permanence has never been a feature of economics. Every empire has learned this truth. Every power has faced this reality. The nation that adapts the fastest, that captures opportunity with both hands, that inspires confidence across borders. That is the nation that will lead. And America's mistakes are leaving the path wide open for another to step forward, a nation not bound by nostalgia, but driven by possibility. A nation ready to turn momentum into dominance. A nation whose economic story is only beginning to unfold on the world stage. When America chooses confrontation over cooperation, when it sees competition only through the lens of conflict rather than collaboration, it pushes allies away and isolates itself from the very networks that made it powerful. A superpower does not rise on strength alone. It rises on the alliances it builds, the trust it earns, and the balance it maintains in an unpredictable world. The mistake America risks making now is assuming that its influence is guaranteed, that allies will always remain loyal, and that its position at the top of the global hierarchy is untouchable. But the truth is, loyalty is fragile, trust must be renewed, and power must be maintained by engagement rather than arrogance. When America closes doors with sanctions, with pressure, with policies that serve its own short-term interest, those doors do not remain empty. They are opened by others, and increasingly it is India who is stepping through them. India has understood the power of balance in a world that grows more complex with each passing year. Rather than taking sides in every conflict, it builds bridges. Rather than isolating others with dominance, it creates partnerships based on mutual respect. This ability to navigate between powers, to maintain strong relations with the West, while deepening ties with Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, is what makes India uniquely positioned to benefit from America's miscalculations. As America alienates allies through an over-reliance on hard power, India strengthens its influence by offering stability, cooperation, and an alternative vision of leadership. This is not an abstract idea. It is visible in global diplomacy. While America struggles to manage its relations with rivals and partners alike, India has expanded its presence in forums across the world. It engages in dialogues with Europe, invests in Africa, partners with Southeast Asia, and builds bridges with the Middle East. It does not present itself as a threat, but as an opportunity, a country willing to listen, to negotiate, to compromise, and to lead without imposing. That kind of influence is subtle but powerful, and in a world weary of constant confrontation, it resonates deeply. Strategic balance is not only about diplomacy, it is also about economics and security. India has positioned itself as a key partner in global supply chains, as a trusted hub for technology, and as a reliable player in international security efforts. Where America often demands loyalty, India earns it by creating shared benefits. Nations want to work with India because they see opportunity, they see growth, and they see a future that includes them rather than excludes them. America, in contrast, often speaks the language of dominance, reminding others of its power, but not always including them in its vision. That difference is profound, and it is shaping the alliances of the future. In the realm of security, America's strategy has often been one of intervention, of entering conflicts, of projecting military might across the globe. India's approach has been different. It strengthens defense where necessary, but it also focuses on dialogue, on cooperation, on regional stability. It does not seek to impose its will through force, but to demonstrate its reliability through presence and partnership. That approach is increasingly attractive to nations who do not want to be caught in the middle of confrontations between great powers. India offers them a path forward that avoids choosing sides, and that makes India indispensable in the emerging global order. The balance of power is never static. It moves, it shifts, it adapts to the realities of the world. America once mastered the art of balancing alliances, creating institutions, and projecting leadership that others could rally behind. But today, its confrontational posture undermines that legacy. In contrast, India is mastering the art of multipolarity, positioning itself not as a subordinate to any one bloc, but as an independent leader capable of engaging with all. In an era defined by uncertainty, that independence is a strength that grows more valuable every day. Every time America chooses confrontation, it creates space for India to practice cooperation. Every time America pushes an ally away, India extends a hand. Every time America turns a rival into an enemy, India finds common ground. This is how the balance shifts, not through sudden collapse, but through gradual realignment. Nations that once depended entirely on America are now hedging their bets, building ties with India, and seeing it as a rising anchor of stability. The foundation of power in the modern world is not brute force alone. It is trust. It is reliability. It is the ability to bring others together. America risks losing that foundation by overestimating the permanence of its influence. India, on the other hand, is steadily building it, creating a reputation as a nation that can balance tradition and modernity, independence and cooperation, strength and humility. And as America's mistakes accumulate, the scales tilt further, creating a future in which the balance of power is not dictated by Washington alone, but increasingly shaped by New Delhi. America has long relied on the belief that its innovations, its companies, and its financial systems will always remain the benchmark for the world. It assumes that no matter how many mistakes it makes, its position will remain secure simply because of the past it has built. But the global economy does not honor history. It rewards momentum, and momentum today is shifting away from America toward nations that are ready to embrace change rather than resist it. The critical error lies in the way America treats technology, trade, and finance as permanent assets rather than evolving challenges. By failing to adapt quickly, by allowing bureaucracy and politics to slow its progress, it leaves the door open for competitors who are hungrier, faster, and more willing to take risks. India, in particular, has become that competitor, rising not in the shadows, but in plain sight, ready to claim the opportunities America is letting slip away. For decades, the United States has been the center of global finance, with its currency dominating trade and its companies leading technological revolutions. Yet confidence in that permanence has fostered complacency. Instead of building the future with urgency, too many decisions are tied up in political battles and regulatory delays. Innovation becomes slowed by debates, progress becomes strangled by hesitation, and opportunities are lost because the system believes it has time to waste. In the meantime, India has recognized that the 21st century does not wait for anyone. It has unleashed digital revolutions, built systems that bring millions into the modern economy, and created a culture where entrepreneurship is celebrated rather than obstructed. The hunger to build is stronger than the fear of failure, and that hunger is what turns potential into power. Look at the way India has transformed its digital landscape. While America debates how to regulate its giants, India has given its people access to digital tools that empower daily life. Online banking, instant payments, digital identification, and nationwide platforms have brought hundreds of millions into the economy for the first time. This is not just growth in numbers. It is the creation of entirely new markets, new industries, new possibilities. America continues to dominate in certain sectors, but India is expanding in ways that reach deeper into society, creating inclusive growth that generates both stability and ambition. In this kind of growth, the seeds of global leadership are planted. Finance is another battlefield where America's overconfidence is dangerous. Believing its currency will always be the unquestioned standard, it assumes that the world has no alternative. But alternatives are emerging, and India is positioning itself to be part of that shift by building stronger trade ties, increasing its role in global markets, and pushing for financial systems that are more balanced. It is challenging the idea that one nation can forever dictate the rules. America's reliance on the dollar as a tool of dominance has created resentment and motivated others to explore new systems. India is not acting alone, but it is playing a crucial role in the gradual diversification of global finance. And every miscalculation by America accelerates this process. The heart of this transformation lies not only in policy, but in mindset. America too often looks backward, defending the industries of yesterday, while India looks forward, creating the industries of tomorrow: renewable energy, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing. India is pushing into these spaces with determination. Young entrepreneurs and scientists are encouraged to experiment, to innovate, to disrupt. This spirit of creation is what drives economic revolutions, and it is being nurtured in India at a scale that is impossible to ignore. America may still hold the advantage in resources and wealth, but it is the willingness to adapt, to experiment, and to lead in emerging industries that defines the next era of power. Even in the realm of global trade, America has stumbled by focusing on confrontation rather than cooperation. Tariffs, sanctions, and protectionist measures have created tension with allies and rivals alike, while India has expanded its network of trade partnerships. By presenting itself as a reliable partner, a growing market, and a hub for global business, India is positioning itself at the crossroads of commerce. Multinational corporations are diversifying their investments, moving supply chains, and increasingly seeing India as the stable alternative to an America caught in cycles of political uncertainty and economic short-termism. What America has treated as guaranteed, India is treating as opportunity, and in that difference lies the shift in global power. The momentum of a nation is not determined only by its current wealth, but by the direction in which it is moving. America's direction has been slowed by complacency and conflict, while India's is propelled by energy and ambition. Every mistake America makes in assuming its dominance will last forever is another chance for India to prove that the world is ready for a new leader. The global economy is not static. It is a living, breathing force that rewards those who move with speed, vision, and courage. America's hesitation has created an opening, and India's determination is ensuring that it will not be left untouched.